Welcome back to the Whiskey Edition. My name is Rob, and tonight, a very special introduction to Flaviar Lost Art of Distillation Holiday Advent Calendar. Yes, that's 24 50 milliliter samples of unknown origin each day until Christmas Eve. Will we get to all of these all in the same night? No, I don't think so. We'll have to move them along as we see fit. But I'll open it up and we'll read through a few of the things that are inside the box and see how night number 1 on December 1st this year. Maybe if I don't say what year it is, use it for other years. So let's get at it. I'm trying to do some fancy mood lighting like Matt, but he's much better at it. There we go, the Flaviar Whiskey Advent Calendar, Lost Art of Distillation. Search for the secret spirits. What's inside? Let's take a look. Oh, David. I think that's David. When doves fly, or doves cry. Strategically covered up, which is probably good. Down here we have some words, lots of words. On this side we have all the little doors. There's door number 1, but we won't do that first. There's other doors that have to be opened. 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Open for a secret object. And then it says down here, start here. Oh, there we go. The Lost Art of Distillation. Looks like a little book. Let's see. Oh, it's a big book. Take a look. Search for the secret spirits. Flaviar. Does this tell us what each one is? Let's see. Look what else is in there. The Glencairn. All right. Get that out. Maybe without breaking it. Haven't had a lot of luck in that for that lately. Very nice. Better to wash it before I use it. This box before you is a treasure chest of exquisite specimens collected by a mysterious adventurer who wanted to unlock the secrets of fine spirits. We invite you to put on a fedora. Not gonna happen. Grab your favorite sidekick, and we don't have one of those, and the most trusted glass that was in the box, and embark on an exciting tasting expedition of exploring flavors and learning the lost art of distillation. Train your senses to become a connoisseur and continue the adventure. Welcome, dear Dram Pioneer, and cheers. Oh, scan for guidance of the journey. That could be a challenge. So number 1. Wyoming whiskey. I'll tell you what it is, just that it's Wyoming whiskey, small batch. 44% alcohol by volume. So let's get the glass. Like the instructions say, scan for guidance on the journey. So let's take a look. Oh, did it? Takes you to the Flaviar site. We are in the search for the secret spirits, I think. Oh. Before we activate your free 1-year Flaviar Black membership with an asterisk. I think this is the search for the secret spirits, isn't it? Yes. Okay. I received this as a gift. Nope. I cannot find the email with the calendar purchase. You received an email. I don't think I got that. Huh. Oh, well, I gave it as a gift to myself. Try Flaviar Black. Follow another link. Oh, $40 a year. Well, let's just move on for now. I think we unlock door number 1. We saw that earlier. I don't think I can get up that high. Here, we'll move it up like this. Behind door number 1. That worked out okay. It's in there. It's nice, it's all in foam. You could hear the liquid rattling, but you couldn't hear that. Oh, here it comes. Okay. There we go. Whiskey product number 1. Bottled by Try This New York, Utica, New York. So that must be this little bottle here. Huh, interesting little Flaviar bottles. You've got to try this. Got the government warning on it and everything. All right, back to the fire. We'll swirl it, and we'll let it open up a bit. Does it say anything about? It does. Vanilla cream, caramel, butter, floral, spicy, malted barley, raisins, savory are all the notes that this one tends to have in it. Identify the color. So it's trying to teach you what's going on as you're going through it, through each one. So, well, I think this is opened up enough. Going for the nose. Smells very sweet. A little bit of ethanol, not too bad. Have a taste. It is spicy. Lingers on the palate for a while. Maybe a little bit young. Doesn't last long. Not real complex, as it were. Another sip. Probably a good basic sipping whiskey. Not super high proof. What was it? 44%. Just over 80, 88 proof. So they give the notes here. Am I getting any of these? Kind of the caramel, I guess. I don't get the vanilla cream. I do get the spice. Don't really get the butter or the malted or the raisins or the savory, but I do get a little mint and floral, and definitely the spice. Color goldish to amber, I think. Definitely not burnished goldish, and definitely not just corn. They don't have what its makeup is, what its mash bill is, so I'd have to do that. I guess I'm supposed to write my ranking in here. I think I'd probably give it a 6. I mean, it's not too bad, it's not off-putting. Maybe a 7. Got 23 more days, I don't want to use them all up at once. I guess it's not head-to-head, so that shouldn't be a concern. But I think it's a good start to the calendar. Day number 1 down. And for December 2nd, number 2 on the Whiskey Advent Calendar for Flaviar, a peaty Celt, 43% alcohol by volume, from Penderyn. I don't know if it's Penderyn or Penderyn. They say things kind of fast over there. It's peaty, salty, smoky, buttery, slightly bitter, medicinal and fresh. So that should be very interesting. I don't think I've had a lot of if any, Celtic whiskey. Let's go for number 2. Now I got it so I can. Number 2. The color isn't, you know, like number 1 was a little more oaky. So this should be interesting. It's very, very light amber. I wouldn't even put it in the amber. It's, what do they have it as? It's not clear, but it's also not corn. Like that. There's no cork. About half? Yeah, it's a little more than half. I'll let this open up. All right, I think that's opened up enough. Let's get a little swirl action here. Going for the nose. Wow, I get the butter right off. Maybe the peat. A little smoky butter. Interesting, it's very light. Against this backdrop, it's maybe kind of tough to tell, but I don't want to say that it's clear, but it's pretty not as amber as an American, being a Celt whiskey with no E. Going for the sip. Wow, you hold that. It is smoky. I am not used to Scottish whiskey. I'm guessing that's where the Celt is from. I'll have to look that up, but whoo, that smoke. It's not bad. It's interesting. Something that we're not used to with American whiskeys, that's for sure. But on the nose, the butter really came through, and on the palate, the smoke. And the finish is, you know, the smoke just keeps on smoking. A little spicy. That's 2. So there you have day number 2. I got the smoke. I didn't get so much the salt, but I got that butter. And it's interesting they put medicinal right in there, because usually that's not a, maybe that's just the note they were getting. I didn't get the medicinal as much as the butter. The butter is late. Butter is on the nose and the butter is late. But the smoke is on the palate. Day 3 tomorrow, December 3rd. Day 3 of the Flaviar Advent Calendar. That is December 3rd. Tonight, Banknote, 5-year-old peated reserve blended Scotch whiskey. 43% alcohol by volume. Dark chocolate, spicy, fruity, smoky, nutty, jam, toffee, and ginger. Oh yeah, you can get the peat. What do they say? Fruit, spicy, nutty, toffee, jam, and ginger. Smoky. Well, I got the smoke for sure. Dark chocolate. I think I get more of a funk than any of those, but it's probably the smoky peat. Let's go for a taste. Yeah, for me the smoke hits late on the palate. Spicy, of course. Getting the chocolate, maybe it hits later. Definitely no ginger, no jam. You know, everybody's palate's a little bit different. That's probably killed because I had chili for dinner. Yes, I wouldn't put this real high. This doesn't seem to have any super high flavor. I guess if you like the smoke and the spice, but otherwise, yesterday's was a little bit better, I think, than this one, and it was the Celt Penderyn Celt whiskey. This is the Banknote 5-year-old. It does have a little more color. The other had no age statement. This has a 5-year age statement. See you tomorrow. Tonight, December 4th, the 4th day of the Flaviar Whiskey Advent Calendar, is RCS, Rye 100 Whiskey. I've never heard of RCS. I think there's some acronyms for RCS if you wanted to go to Urban Dictionary and look it up. But the banana is definitely the C, and it's restless and syndrome. So RCS, with the banana, figs, and fruit, floral, mint, leather, maple, spicy, oops, there we go. Maple, spicy, apple, jam, and all the good stuff. So let's open up number 4 and get on with it. Let's see what you gonna say. Number 4. The ABV on this, 50%. 100 proof, a little higher proof. It is a rye RCS. Try it off the bat. Put this back in its... We'll be back with the notes in a minute. Now that we got the fire going again, let's take a sniff of the RCS whiskey. Nice color. A little deeper amber. Maybe a little spice on the nose. Now let this open up quite a while. Give it a lot of, well, we'll go in for a taste. Hopefully I'll get the fruit. Wow. I definitely get the leather and the spice. Not a lot of fruits, and I don't even know what a fig tastes like. If I liked figs, I would probably have figs more often, but I have a feeling figs are pretty low on my fruit list. Maybe a fig is... Fig or fruit? Fig if I know. I think I get the leather and the spice for sure. I get the other things they talk about. It's not bad for the RCS. All right, we'll rate that at maybe a 7 or so. I think I liked it a little bit better than some of the whiskeys. Maybe not the Pemberton, but the other one from yesterday, but it's not too bad. See what happens on the 5th. That'll be tomorrow. See if I can get the fire started earlier. Actually remembered to start the fire for tonight's number 5, the 5th of December, the 5th spot on the Flavia calendar, advent calendar. It is, before I do that, let's look it up on the cheat sheet book here. Oh, Brothers Bond. I actually have a bottle of Brothers Bond upstairs. Do I? No, I don't. I was going to get the cask strength. This is a straight bourbon whiskey. 40% ABV. Honey, banana, spicy rye, red apricot tea, orange zest, and walnut are the flavors and notes that they give. So let's see how it goes. We'll crack it open, crack the box open, crack the vial open, pour it, let it sit for a bit, and then get into it. Number 5. Number 5. If I so desired. I think that's opened up enough. Smells sweet. Not really floral, so that's good. I'm not super huge on the floral. I'm getting a note of, what is the sweet? Oh, the honey. Duh. I'm getting that right off the top. I was going to say it was more like a nougat of some sort, but it's more like a honey. You know what's kind of frustrating I've noticed about the Flaviar? They don't give the mash bill on anything, which I find odd. They give the alcohol by weight, but they don't give the mash bill. Let's see what we've got for a taste. Spicy. I am getting a little bit of the fruity stuff, a little orange maybe, some apricot, banana. I'm not getting the walnut, or the walnut. Thankfully, I'm not getting a lot of tea because I'm not a tea guy. It's not real alcohol forward and didn't have a real bite to it, which is good. Probably because it's only 80 proof. Yeah, it's not bad. It's pretty smooth. Good sipper. 7.5. Cheers. Tomorrow, day 6. Day number 6, the 6th of December. Balcones Lineage Whiskey, 47% alcohol by volume. Walnut pie, caramel, woody, vanilla, apple, pear, toffee, and bitter. I believe Balcones is out of Texas. So there we go. There's the coloring. Which is, I just saw online that these are, all right, we'll let that open up for a bit. The Balcones. No, I was thinking I should probably have done, I'm not getting any of the apple, pear, caramel pie, or even the newts on it. Maybe a little woody. Doesn't have an age statement. Lineage, I could probably look that up. Let's go in for a taste. Well, that has a lot going on the old palate. Maybe a little bitter, which, you know, I've heard that the Balcones out of Texas has a kind of an odd taste to it, and this would not be any different. Lineage implies that maybe it's older, but that would, you know, maybe give it a woody taste. But, you know, I'd like to say that it's interesting, but not my jam. I'm not getting a lot of the caramel or the pear or any of that business out of it. It's very odd, though. I'm going to put it right at a 5. I'm glad I didn't buy any. And I guess that's kind of the point of the 24 days of whiskey advent calendar from Flaviar, is you don't, or Flaviar, is that, you know, you can't try these without buying a whole frickin' bottle, because I don't have any upstairs that fall into this category. You know, I really would like to be able to pick out the walnuts, pie, and caramel, because those are like my favorite things ever. Toffee, it'd be like drinking a candy bar, but I'm just not getting that. So, see what tomorrow has to bring. The 7th on the Whiskey Advent Calendar. And now day 7 of the Flaviar Whiskey Advent Calendar. Spot number 7. Open that up. Number 7. I haven't said what it is yet. I was going to reverse it, but I don't think I'll be able to do that. Number 7, the 7th day, December 7th, is the Stouning. I don't know if it's astounding or astounding. Chaos Whiskey. 46% alcohol by volume. Cereal, cocoa, maple, molasses, toffee, smoky, floral. Orange and oak are the notes. Leave a little bit extra. All right, we'll let that open up. I think the Stouning Chaos Whiskey deserves a little bit of backstory. In this case, I should have probably done this on the other ones while we're opening up here, but the name Chaos is inspired from Danish history, from Thorvald Stauning, 1873 to 1943, was the first social democratic prime minister of Denmark and is considered to be the founder of the modern welfare state. For his re-election campaign in 1935, he used the now famed slogan, Stauning or Chaos. Stauning eller Chaos in Danish. I probably totally messed that up. He won the election. So they bring both Stauning and Chaos by blending their best rye and single malt whiskeys into a curious marriage. So that is kind of the backstory of the Stauning Chaos we're about to try. I think that backstory needs to go in the Flaviar booklet, though looking it up is not that big a deal, even though getting through the website was a little bit interesting. This 46% ABV basically has everything Stauning does in one bottle: bit of smoke, bit of spice, a lot of complexity, and a versatile Nordic whiskey. An extremely versatile whiskey for the undiluted experience. Drink it neat, which we'll be doing, like a scotch, or add ice, which we won't be doing, to spice it up. A classic whiskey-based cocktail with a Nordic Carrot twist, and it seems to have gotten some gold and silver awards from various places. So when this is fully opened up, we will give it a try. Well, I've let this fine Danish whiskey open up. Let's put it on the nose. Definitely smoky, malty, because it's a blend, as we've learned from reading the website. I didn't get any cereal. I don't know, cornflakes, or is that Cheerios? I'm not sure. I hope I'm getting some cocoa out of it. Definitely smoky. Let's go for the taste. Definitely a lot of smoke. It is not awful. Oak, got a little oak to it, which is good. And again, this I think is a blend of some rye. I didn't have high hopes being a Danish product. I don't know why. It's not horrible. It's not bad. I'd put it, borrowing a page out of Matt Porter's December 7th day Advent calendar, number 7, I would give it a 7.7. If it has the floral, it hasn't hit much. We're For the cocoa. I like for the cocoa yet. Number 8 tomorrow. Welcome back to day number 8 of the Flaviar Advent Calendar. We're a third of the way through. Let's just get right into it. This is the Rossville Union. Master-crafted straight rye whiskey, dried fruit, toffee, vanilla, cocoa, smoky, caramel, spicy, nutmeg, and cinnamon are the notes coming off of it. Nice color, pretty dark. Does not, again, have an age statement, 47%. I can look that up while I'm letting it open up. I think that's opened up enough. Do a little reading. Perfecting the craft since 1847. This is from the Rossville website, Rossville Union website. It began in 1847 with a bold, satisfying taste that would make Indiana the rye capital of the world. There you have it. For nearly 200 years, Lawrenceburg's master distillers and blenders have been perfecting the original handcrafted rye blends in one of America's last Prohibition-era distilleries. Rossville Union is a return to the golden age of rye with an authentic taste that can only come from Whiskey City. So 47% ABV, aged 5 years. Let's see what it has on the nose. Well, it says it has sweet caramel. I don't know about that. I do get a little spiciness. It says it has a fruit-forward palate and is smoky. So we've had some smoky ones in the past 7. Let's see how it tastes. Now I'm getting the caramel a little bit of cocoa. What does it say on the caramel? Spicy, cocoa. Oh, good. A little bit of smoke. I didn't get the dried fruit or the vanilla or the nutmeg. It's not too bad. They do make a 7-year that's barrel proof, and then they also do a bottle and bond. I'll give this a 7 also. So 7 for number 8. I don't think I'd give it an 8, maybe 7.5 to an 8. For number 8, we'll hit the rest of tomorrow. Tonight, December 9th, on the Flaviar Advent Calendar, December 9. Let's get right into it. What is number 9 tonight? Remus Bourbon, straight bourbon whiskey, 47% alcohol by volume, with notes of vanilla, caramel, cocoa, dried fruit, pepper, cherry, maple, sweet, bread. Sweet. Put that in there. Number 9, back in its little garage. We'll let this open up. A little bit about Remus. A truly, from their website, original bourbon compliments of a truly original bootlegger. The bourbon inspired by the finest bourbon of the Prohibition era, Remus Bourbon captures the rebellious spirit of the Roaring Twenties with a hint of vanilla, a maple aroma, and a sweet yet characteristic rye flavor. Its distillery is Ross and Squibb Distillery, Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Remus is carefully crafted at the historic Ross and Squibb Distillery in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, located above the pure and plentiful Miami Aquifer. It is also the location of one of Remus's largest distilleries during Prohibition, Squibb Distillery. Combine our adherence to Remus's legendary quality standards and the natural gifts of Lawrenceburg, and you get an award-winning family of bourbons worthy of the king of the bootlegger's name. All right, we'll let that open up and get back in a couple minutes. Take a little nose. Oh, and I did read that Remus is MGP. It's just that distillery was, I don't know if it was purchased by MGP or it's just a division of MGP, but there you have it. It's kind of their flagship brand, I believe. I must only be able to smell caramel when there is caramel, like the caramel candies, because I don't smell it when it's on the nose here on the alcohol. Well, let's have a taste. Well, I kind of get the cherry and the dried fruit, I would say. Oh, definitely the cherry. The cherry hits late. That's not too bad. I don't mind that. But it hits the palate very late. Oh, I see what that is. Is that on all of them? Pepper on the nose, right there. But I definitely get the cherry on the palate. I don't really get so much of the caramel. Let's see if the others. Is that the only one that has the nose? This one has cereal on the brain. It must be a guide or something to their swirl here. I haven't figured it out yet, but put that in a 7.9. Well, that may be too high, but it's not too bad for the Remus. I've got a couple of repeals I don't think I've gotten into yet. I'd like to find the new batch that's not marked to the sky, but for now, this Remus, not too bad. tomorrow night, December 10, the 10 spot. Welcome back, day 10 of the Flaviar Whiskey Calendar, Whiskey Advent Calendar, that is. And tonight we have number 10, if I can get out of the shadow there. Milk and Honey, Elements Red Wine Cask Whiskey without the E, 46% alcohol by volume with a vanilla, cranberry toasted oak plums, ginger, milk, spicy, tannic, apple. You can see that picture of the bottle. Quick rundown of Milk and Honey, Elements, division of the Milk and Honey brand. World's best single malt whiskey. We traveled all the way to Spain and had Oloroso and Pedro Jimenez sherry made especially for us. The cask, once filled with quality sherry and seasoned for 1 year in Spain, were brought to the distillery to mature our new make spirit for a wonderful complex whiskey. In the Elements series, M&H, Mud and Honey, I want to say Mud Honey, Mud Honey, Milk and Honey. The Elements series is a composition of flavors and aromas assembled meticulously selected casks that bring forward characters enhanced by the cask's wood, origin, and history. Each expression in this series begins with the Milk and Honey Classic Single Malt Whiskey and is complemented with whiskey matured in various hand-picked superlative and quality oak casks, culminating in beautiful natural color, impressive flavors, and a well-balanced single malt. The Milk and Honey Elements manifest the combination of traditional distillation methods with rapid but graceful hot climate and maturation. There you have it. We'll let that open up for a bit. All right, I think this has opened up enough. A few other little pieces of backstory about the distillery. Milk and Honey Distillery, it's Israel's first whiskey distillery, M&H. So their address is mh-distillery.com. Award-winning M&H whiskeys are available in over 40 countries worldwide, telling our bold story with unrelenting innovation in every bottle. I recommend taking a look at their website. They have quite a few details about the distillery and tours and everything else you could want to go to. Take notes. Oh yeah, the sherry cask comes right through. They don't give the mash bill on the Element series. What are some of the notes? Nosings. I don't really get the vanilla, but I kind of get the, cranberry, apple, fruity. I don't know about the ginger, but plums. I mean, I think you'd kind of get that because of the finishing in the sherry casks. Just going for a sip. I'm not really getting the vanilla. I think I may have got a hint of ginger. Milk? I don't know that I would get milk. Though, to be honest, I just had quite a load of different bourbon creams for another video, which came out before this one's done. It's got a little bit of spice to it, a little bit of a bite. Oloroso sherry cask doesn't quite come through as much as I would have thought it would have on the finishing. And I honestly haven't had a lot of finished. It's not too bad. I'd put it in the 6.5 range though. Probably not something I would go immediately to. It's okay. Oh, and I think the evening of the 7th was the start of Hanukkah. That would have been appropriate to have number 10 up here. These two switched or something, so it would have lined up. But anyway, see you tomorrow. And we're back for day 11 of the Flaviar Whiskey Advent Calendar. Tonight, December 11th. All right, we'll let this open up and read a little bit about day 11, December 11th. It's Stranahan's Blue Peak Whiskey, 43% alcohol by volume. Sweet, spicy, oak, warm, rich. Those look like Skittles, not Skittles, or one of those things you get at the movie theater that I don't like, but the kids love them. Oak, toasted, charred, butterscotch, and smooth. Well, Stranahan's happens to be a Colorado whiskey, and I am from Colorado, but let's get a little backstory on Stranahan's while we're waiting for that to open up. Their story is when volunteer firefighter Jess Graber responded to a neighbor's barn fire down the road, he never imagined anything good could come out of it. The barn that Jess made an effort to save belonged to Woody Creek local George Stranahan, a longtime brewer owner and whiskey connoisseur. The two discovered a shared passion for Colorado outdoors and a proper pour of fine whiskey. From this relationship, Stranahan's Colorado whiskey was born. The two developed a recipe for a distinctively smooth and flavorful American single malt whiskey using their mountain surroundings to their advantage. So there you have it with the Stranahan story out of Colorado, what we are tasting. So we'll let that open up for a bit and we'll be back. I should have looked up what those candies are called. I don't think they're jujubes. Jolly. Man, I forgot what they are, but not my jam. And you could get them in the box at the movie theater, along with Moke Duds and Red Hots. I just thought they were kind of gross personally, but I am getting that sweet candy note on the old nose here. All right, let's go for a taste. Well, I believe this is a single malt. And I got something on the palate on the back. On the finish, it's not as smooth as they think it is. Maybe I got a little butterscotch on there. It is spicy, very spicy. Warm. I don't know what warm is in the taste or a smell, but they seem to think it is. Toasted and oak. Let's see. Do another. I wish I was getting more butterscotch. On the nose, I was getting the sweet taste of those candies. Anyway, I would give it a 6.2. Day 11 tomorrow. Tonight, December 12th, 12th day of the Whiskey Advent Calendar from Flaviar. We'll get right into it with pocket number 12. If I can do this without bottle number 12. Bottle number 12 is from Two Stacks. First Cut Whiskey. Tropical fruits, vanilla, cereal, nutty, spicy, sweet toffee, lemon zest, and cherry. Two Stacks First Cut Whiskey. I'll look it up. 43% alcohol by volume. See what state or country they're out of. Get a little more details. All right, let that open up. Let's see what Two Stacks has to say. First Cut Complex Blend, 43%, 5-part blend from virgin oak grain, ex-bourbon grain, ex-Oloroso pot still, ex-bourbon double distilled malt, and ex-bourbon peated malt. That is a complex blend, I would say. Description: acquiring its rich, complex yet balanced flavor by liquid drawn from carefully matured and married casks of malt grain and pot still whiskey. Two Stacks, the First Cut, is a truly distinctive Irish whiskey for contemporary palates. Two Stacks is part of a new chapter, an adventurous chapter in Irish whiskey, and we want you to help us tell its tale. Founded in 2020 by Shane McCarthy, Liam Brogan, and Donald McGlynn, all probably said with more Irish accents than I have. With fresh knowledge and experience in the globalized world of spirits, Two Stacks was inspired by the traditions of old and contemporary brands of new, opening one of Ireland's only independent bonding and blending facilities in 2022, with the ambition to combine these worlds together. Our unique approach to working with some of Ireland's leading distilleries, selecting the finest spirits distilled across Ireland allows us to create incredible expressions of whiskey never crafted nor tasted before. We continue to build our reputation on top of 3 key fundamentals and help shape the future of Irish whiskey: transparency, creativity, innovation. Two Stacks is part of a new and adventurous chapter in Irish whiskey, and we want you to help us tell its tale. Slánta. I think that's how that's said. I heard it somewhere on the YouTube. Slánta. Slánta. All right, well, we'll let that open up and come back in a minute. 5 different barreled Irish whiskey on the nose. Oh, it does have a little quick, and a little lemon. Cut the lemon right off the bat. I didn't get the tropical fruits right off. I like on that other page where it had the big nose, so you kind of knew what to smell for. This, not so much. I don't know why they put cereal. I mean, if the cereal right there, I mean, what if that was like grape nuts? Or what if it was Captain Crunch? Take the first sip. It's got good mouthfeel, good coating, very odd finish. I'm not getting many of the tropical fruits. It's got a little spice to it. You know, it's not horribly off-putting. Like, you know, sometimes when you mix 5 different barrels together, I know Barrel Craft Spirits, they're pretty good at their barrel mixes, and these guys are right out of the gate, only been around a couple of years, it sounds like, if that. But it's not bad. It's interesting. Good tendrils or whatever on the side of the glass. I'm not getting the nudiness. Maybe a little sherry, Oloroso sherry in there. I'll put it at I don't know, maybe a 6.8. Cheers. See you tomorrow. Welcome back, and today, December 13th. Is it really the 13th? I guess it is. December 13th, 13th day of the Flaviar Advent Calendar. Day 13 is Westward American Single Malt Whiskey. 45% alcohol by volume. Herbs, butterscotch, spicy, dried fruit, orange peel, oak, lemon, cocoa, and cinnamon are the notes. Our westwardwhiskey.com. Kentucky doesn't own whiskey.
Welcome to Westland.
Oh, I don't have to talk. I guess it is Seattle. Oh, it's local. To me, anyway. Pacific Northwest. And it is the American Single Malt. It's oh, I picked the wrong one. What an idiot. Westward Whiskey Original. Maybe that's it. Yeah, that's it. The original. Born from our love for whiskey and our desire to create something entirely new, this elevated American original demonstrates their craftsmanship and creativity. Our distinct, rich, and brazen single malt is the pinnacle of American whiskey, created from locally malted barley, brewed for exceptional flavor and matured to perfection in new, heavily toasted and lightly charred American oak barrels right here in Oregon, where our unique hot, dry summers and cool, wet winters are the ideal environment to raise a world-class whiskey. What a way to put a spin on crappy winter weather. Our story begins in 2004. Vision to make a distinctive American whiskey inspired by the American Northwest. We sought to make something entirely new, and Westward Whiskey was born. At the time, there were only 3 dozen craft distilleries in the USA Today, helmed by founder and CEO Thomas Mooney, Westward is a proud leader among more than 2,200 producers. Humble beginnings to its impressive footprint today, creating a bold, robust, and delicious whiskey has remained the team's true passion. For more than 2 decades, we've proudly served as a leading voice for American whiskey. We'll let that open up, and then we'll give it the sniff and the taste. All right, let's get into Westward American Single Malt out of Oregon. It's very dark amber in color, which is nice. Nose herbal, herbs, and floral for me right on the front. Maybe a little bit of that orange peel. I do like when the notes they give you and other people give you sometimes bias what you're smelling. That's why it's, I could do it on the front side and then look at it, but who wants that? Yeah, it's definitely herbal. I may even have gotten a little bit of, some kind of sweetness. I don't know if it's butterscotch or toffee or something, but hopefully the herbs doesn't transfer over to the palate. I am not a big fan of like tea-ish tasting whiskey. So let's give it a taste. Well, I was about to be aggravated, then the cinnamon hit, and it's still hitting. Wow, that cinnamon fires late for me. Don't get a lot of cocoa, maybe some orange peel. Spicy for sure. It's not super alcohol forward, even though it is 90 proof, 45%. So it's interesting. It's probably not my jam. I don't know. I don't know if it's the malt or it's just odd for me. So for me, I'd put it at a 50-50. I don't even think you can use malt as a mixer. It's not that it's bad. It's just not my taste. It's that cinnamon. If you like, I want to say if you like Fireball, because I don't think it's that cinnamony, and plus it's got all the other tastes in there, all the other notes. This Westward American Single Malt definitely has a little kick of cinnamon on the back end. So if you like that and you don't like Fireball, this might be your jam. If you like cinnamon but you don't quite like Fireball, the Westward Single Malt might be your jam. Day 14 tomorrow. Tonight, day 14 of the Flaviar Whiskey Advent Calendar. That's December 14th. Open for a secret object. Not sure when we're supposed to do that, so I'll just keep going. This whiskey is from Mars. I take it that's Mars Distillery. It's not red. It's still kind of an amber in color. It's definitely not red. IWAI Whiskey. Mars Awai Whiskey with no E. 40% alcohol by volume. Sweet, pear, toffee, milk chocolate caramel, stewed fruit, butterscotch, milk, and strawberry. I think I have seen this. And probably not the Mars company, but we'll see. Mars Whiskey Hawaii, Japanese whiskey, high road spirits. I'm gonna get all of these things wrong. We're talking about Mars Shinshu, Japan's highest distillery at 798 meters. Sandwiched between Japan's soaring southern Alps and the towering Central Alps at just over 2,600 feet, Mars Shinshu is Japan's highest whiskey distillery. The Hanbo family have been distilling for more than a century, and they added whiskey to their repertoire in 1949. Back then, the distillery was located in Kagoshima Prefecture on the southernmost island of Kyushu. Until 1984, it was the southernmost whiskey made in Japan, which ended with the Humbo clan moving the distillery to the idyllic alpine setting of Miyata village in southern Nagano Prefecture. I think I've been there. They chose this site for its cool temps which slowed maturation and the plentiful soft granite filtered snowmelt fed aquifers. Smart choice, the whiskeys are elegant, smooth, and very complex. So the Iwai whiskey, Iwai, Kiichiro Iwai, the namesake for this Mars whiskey, was a silent pioneer of Japan whiskey. The whiskey is inspired by great whiskeys of America, a majority of corn balanced with light malt, aged in ex-bourbon barrels, ideal for daily sipping in a mint julep or an old-fashioned. We will let this open up some more. All right, I think that's opened up adequately. Let's see what we have on the nose for the Mars Iwai whiskey from out of Japan. Very interesting story. Again, I wish they would actually put those in the notes rather than me trying to put my notes in there. Well, I'm not getting anything in the nose. It's only 80 proof. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's the Glencairn being a little stingy with the aroma. I'm not getting really the pear, the caramel, everything that's on here I ain't getting. Well, we'll take a sip and see what we get. Well, I definitely don't get stewed fruit. Thank goodness. And a late hit, something kind of sweet. Maybe that was the nose there. Sweet nose. Where's it? There we go. Right there, is that a nose? Well, it's a big nose, kind of like my nose. But I didn't get any of the fruits or anything. Try another. Well, I'm not getting a bunch. That's not to say it's not bad. It doesn't really seem to have not getting any superior notes out of it. Out of the Mars Iwai whiskey. I'd put this in a 5.5, maybe 5.5, 6. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not something I'd throw out. I probably wouldn't go out and buy a bottle of it because it's just not making it for me. I mean, I'm just not getting, as much as I'm trying, I'm not getting any good notes or anything out of it. They did not have an age statement, so I don't know if this is young or old. It doesn't really taste very young, but it definitely doesn't have any of the kind of the oak on it, like something that had been aged a while. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a 5-ish, something like that. Off to tomorrow. Welcome back to day 15 of the Flaviar Whiskey Advent Calendar, December 15th. Port Askaig. I'm sure I'm saying that completely incorrectly. 8-year-old Scotch whiskey with no E. 45.8% alcohol by volume. Smoky lemon zest. Peaty, zesty licorice. Oh boy, I am not a fan of licorice. Floral caramel cake. Now, cake, like chocolate cake, lemon cake, strawberry cake, what? I hate it when they do the cake part. So, let's get this open and let it open up. And I'll read you a little story about Port Askaig. Boy, that is light. That is some light stuff. So let's get this poured in the cup. Oh, it is smoky. Man, right off the shot. Port Askaig was and still is the gateway to Islay. From centuries-old invaders and traders, Port Askaig is a small but important village on the northeast coast of Islay. Nestled on ancient granite rocks alongside of the Sound of Islay Channel, Port Askaig was and still is the gateway to Islay. From centuries-old invaders and traders of the past to the tourists, whiskey explorers, and isle lovers of today, our whiskey is named after this special place. Where land meets sea, the intriguing, gentle, but definitive Islay whiskey is created by the skillful blend of single malt whiskey that's been matured in a selection of bourbon barrels, toasted American oak barrels, sherry butts, refill hogsheads, and American oak casks. If I knew what a sherry butt and a refill hogshead is, I could probably look that up. Tasty notes, charcoal smoke, there you go, and that's right on there. Rich palate of heather, honey, grilled grapefruit and sweet ginger snaps, dark chocolate softened into melon and prosciutto with a warmth of chili spice. So we'll see if that lines up with said in the Flaviar booklet. So let that open up a bit. All right, let's nose this fine Port Askaig Islay 8-year-old Scotch whiskey. Give it a little stick. Oh yeah, the smoke. Wow. You know, that's the thing about a smoky, peaty Scotch, man. Well, the smoke is right on the front, so let's go right down the hatch. All right, Just smoke. You know, when the neighbor has a fire going in the fireplace, not totally unlike what you see in the background here, and they use real wood, not gas like everybody else has, and you're not even very far away, and you're just like, oh, somebody's got a fire going. That's what this is. I'm not a huge Scotch guy, so I don't know if that's indicative of the majority of peated Scotch from the Islay area, but this is definitely smoky. It's got a little smoke on the taste and a little smoke on the palate and a little smoke on the back end. So another sip, and it's really very clear. It's almost for 8 year. It's pretty smooth. It's not too bad, but not a lot of color for an 8 year. Makes me wonder how long it spends in each of the different barrels. Thankfully, I'm not getting all the licorice. I'm not a huge licorice person, but definitely peaty and smoky. Woo! See you tomorrow for number 16. It's day number 16, and number 16 is Powers Gold Label Whiskey, 43.2% alcohol by volume. Let's get it out of its little hut. Take a look. Number 16. A little bit deeper caramel than the other one we had the other day, which was, what was that was almost clear? Port Askig maybe? The peaty one? Yeah, that was almost like clear. Powers Gold Label Whiskey, cinnamon, that should be interesting, honey, white pepper, butterscotch, cloves, orange zest. You know, don't they put cloves with oranges in like a holiday drink? I think so. Brown sugar, spicy and woody. So let's get this poured and opened up. I guess it's not Powers, it's Power. The Power family set tone early. Do what's right for your people, your barley farmers, and your customers. They led with their principles, and it guided them through the centuries. We like to think that when there's an easy way out, we go the other way. Our proud Power story is one built on finding who we are and proudly sticking with it. We know you'll be able to relate. So there's John's Lane, John's Vision, James's Vision, Chicago World Fair, Ultimate Power Move, showed up at the Chicago World's Fair in 1893. Kind of already sounds like I've drank it much, and I really haven't. Extended Powers Family, Powers FC, Powers United Football Club. So Powers is big. Powers Gold Label is cut from the heart of the distillate. That means more top and tail gets thrown away than any other Irish whiskey. Left to mature in selected American oak casks, this is where the spicy, bold character takes hold. A complex and honeyed taste is yours for the taking. We will let this open up. Going for the nose. Well, I'm not getting a lot as usual. Cinnamon might be coming through, maybe the honey. Maybe because it smells a little sweeter. Let's go for the palate. That is odd. It is thick, it is coating. It's got a little bite to it. That honey snaps through. Did it say honey? It did not say honey. It said butterscotch and brown sugar. I got honey. Oh yeah, it does say honey right up at the top, little B right there. Yep, I got those in spades, and it's really, it just feels thick on the tongue. I haven't, out of all of these here, I haven't had that feeling, I don't think, on any of them, so that's very interesting. I am not getting the, thank goodness, the clove. A little bit of orange, I get that. So this is one that I'm probably getting more notes on, more taste, more flavors than most of them that I've had. Maybe it's what I had for dinner or something, I don't know. Maybe on the finish, some of the spicier orange. Maybe that's the clove or the cinnamon coming through. Yeah, it's spicy. Spicy, cinnamon's big, cloves. So this one, I don't even know what white pepper is. Yeah, so the Powers Gold Label, very interesting. Definitely has that butterscotchy honey thickness. The honey, when it's coating the tongue, it kind of feels like it's being just doused with, you know, like a honey, like if you're to have honey water or something. I don't mind it. I'll put it in the 7s. Oh, there was the clove. It's weird how it hit. Each sip hits a little bit different. And on to 17 tomorrow. Tonight, December 17th. The 17th day of the Flaviar Whiskey Advent Calendar. It is Frey Ranch 4 grain straight bourbon whiskey, 45% alcohol by volume. This one is, I think, a challenge to get the 4 grain, so this should be really really interesting. The others, I think, are pretty readily available, other than the 16 that we've done. Frey Ranch has the notes of vanilla, oak, cherry, cranberry, bread. There's that bread thing again. Which bread are we talking? Sourdough, whole wheat, whatever. Brown sugar, spicy, dry, and grain. So we'll get this out of its little garage here and pour it and let it open up. It does have some deep color to it. That's pretty nice. While that's opening up. Frey Ranch Whiskey Farm. Farmers and distillers representing over 165 years and 5 generations of the Frey family's agricultural tradition and expertise at the Frey Ranch. We use the knowledge of the past while looking to a future to grow our whiskey. The result is a creation of the best expression of our grains that we carefully and sustainably cultivate to bring Frey Ranch whiskeys to a new generation of whiskey drinkers. The farming plus distilling process, led by co-founder Colby Frey and master distiller Russell Wedlake, begins with the meticulous care and farming of the whiskey grains grown on our 1,500-acre farm located just east of the Sierra Nevada mountains in Fallon, Nevada. With 100% control over malting, milling, mashing, distilling, maturing, and bottling process on site at Frey Ranch, a high-quality whiskey is born of complete balance and flavor. Did they give the mash bill? I thought they did. I thought I just saw it. Here it is. 10% wheat, 11.4% rye, 12% two-row barley malted on site, 66% non-GMO corn. So, oh, and yeah, and if you do happen to see one of these, the cap, the cork cap, is something to behold. It's a weapon. We'll let that open up and then we'll get into it. Well, I think that's sufficiently opened up on the Frey Ranch 4-grain straight bourbon whiskey. Oh, that has a good smell to it. Really, I think, didn't I say there was wheat? I think I saw there was wheat. Maybe that's the grain I'm smelling, or the bread. A little bit of grain, bread. I'm not getting the brown sugar or cranberry or cherry. I'd like to get those. I like those. Let's take a sip. It's definitely spicy. Ooh, there's something weird. What could that be? I don't like weirdness. I'm not sure what that was. It's nothing on this list. Well, maybe. Ooh. Late, I'm getting cherry. Very late. I'm getting some cherry. Spicy on the front, cherry on the back, bread on the nose, maybe some grain on the nose. Not getting the brown sugar, the vanilla, or the oak, but it might be in there somewhere. It's very interesting. I'm gonna put it lower than what yesterday's was. The Irish whiskey, the Powers, whatever it was. But very interesting story on the Frey Ranch. I think it's, I thought they had what they called a 4-grain, but I didn't see it on their website. So this is 4 grains. It's all right. I'd put it in the 6s, I think, maybe low 5s. It's not super my jam, but it's not awful. Day 18 coming up. Cheers. Welcome to the 18th day of the Whiskey Advent Calendar, the Flaviar Whiskey Advent Calendar. That's December 18. Tonight, Tin Cup. And it's the 10-year whiskey out of Colorado. It's got oak, orange, vanilla, spicy, creamy, honey, smooth, brown sugar, and sweet taste to it. Could be a little challenging to get out. Nice darker amber color. Now the thing about Tin Cup, I had to look at this, I looked it up. Tin Cup 10-year is a straight bourbon whiskey cut with Rocky Mountain water, rested in white American oak barrels for a minimum of 10 years and bottled at an elevation of 5,251 feet. This is whiskey at its peak. 5,280 is a mile, so not quite a mile high, so I'm wondering, how in the heck are they doing that? Because the Capitol in Denver, I know there's a step that's 5,280, so I guess I better do some research to figure out where exactly they are bottling this at 5,251 feet. Anyway, dark amber spirit is amorous with cinnamon, pine, honey, freshly cut grass with notes of sweet pepper, leather, and raisins, and a caramel and biscuit finish. 45% ABV, 90 proof, and it is Lawrenceburg, Indiana distillate. That is MGP. And so the question is, you know, are they getting it 10 years or are they getting it and then aging it 10 years? I am not sure. A little bit about Tin Cup whiskey. Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey is a classic American whiskey cut to proof with Rocky Mountain water and bottled at an elevation of 5,251 feet. Tin Cup aims to inspire and empower new and profound experiences in the great outdoors, and a nod to Tin Cup, Colorado, an old mining town nestled in the Rockies, named for the Tin Cup from which the miners drank their whiskey. And if you were to buy this in a store, it has like a metal cup as on top of the lid. So that's kind of interesting. And they do have a version that has, the bottle is like a reusable aluminum bottle. I've been looking for that. I haven't seen it anywhere. So we'll let this open up and then we'll get into the tasting and sniffing. All right, let's take a swirl, sniff it. You can smell it way outside the cup. It has a nice caramelly flavor to it, or excuse me, caramel-like sweet smell to it. Doesn't smell young for sure, that's good. All right, let's go for the palate. That is thick, buttery coating, little honey. Did it have honey on there? Yep, it had honey. It's not super oak forward, definitely not alcohol forward. Brown sugar for sure, very sweet tasting. A little bit of spice on there. The notes that they have here in the book are pretty accurate. I would say this tin cup so far is one of my favorites. And this is 10-year-old MGP. What I haven't figured out is where it's aged for 10 years in those new American white oak barrels, and what the char level is or any of that. Those details aren't provided, other than finding it was from Lawrenceburg, Indiana, but go for another sip. For a 10-year, I think it's pretty good. I would give this an 8. I'll be looking for this for a full bottle. And they have one out called the 14er. It's a yearly release, 14 years. That would be exceptional to take a look at and to try, though. It is probably a challenge to get outside of, well, especially up here in the PNW, but in the, maybe in Colorado if it's not distillery. It didn't say it was distillery only, but limited release, so it could be a challenge. And tomorrow, 19. Tonight, day 19 of the Flaviar Whiskey Calendar, December 19th. This is Omar, product of Taiwan. Whiskey with no E. Somewhat lighter amber color. Right when I opened that, I got a shot of maybe some of the others. So it's a product of Taiwan, and its notes are toffee, chocolate, honey, cinnamon, and citrus zest, banana, zesty, sugar, and spicy. Omar single malt whiskey bourbon type, which would be very important at 46% alcohol by volume when I read what it says on the Omar website. It's got a very interesting label. Some of the notes are somewhat the same as what we just read through. Floral and fruity are its features. The flavor is dominated by whiskey Noe matured in ex-bourbon cask. A few drops of ex-sherry cask whiskey give the complex body and finishing. Non-chill filtered whiskey is bottled at 46% ABV to keep the best aroma and palate. No coloring, no caramel adding. First comes with pure and refreshing white flower, gradually appearing unattractive, that's not right, gradually appearing attractive aroma of cane, vanilla, cream, and honey. With the warmer climate of Taiwan that brings out the character of multigrain, cedar, and Angelica sinensis, creates a more subtle but balanced aroma. And they've got kind of a flavor map going on there that's kind of interesting. Color, bright golden like honey. I didn't think it was that dark, but maybe. Aroma, sweet malt. Palate, sweet vanilla. Finish, middle length with sweetness. Got a whole bunch of awards out of there. But what about Omar? The story, born in the heart of Taiwan, stand for amber in Gaelic language. Extract the pure spirits of Taiwan, the precious value of time and beautiful island from our craftsmen. The origin of Omar is amber in Gaelic language. There it is again. Nantou Distillery is surrounded by mountains with pure water. The area is suitable for whiskey making and aging. Therefore, Nantou, N-A-N-T-O-U, Distillery was established. We insist on non-chill filtration without caramel coloring. Present the taste of local terroir and natural golden color. So let's let this open up. All right, let's go in for the nose after we've opened up a little bit on the Omar out of Taiwan. Oh, very floral right off the nose, which is very inviting. It's not too bad. Sometimes floral for me is more like perfume. Perfume is no good for me. This isn't too bad. What are a little bit of honey? You did get the honey, maybe that's citrus. I'm getting it more so than floral. Taffy and cinnamon. I'm not getting the cinnamon, but I did get the honey and the zest. Let's go in for the taste. Definitely the cinnamon, spice, right on the palate. That hits quick. It's kind of got a thicker feel to it. The honey on the back end also, maybe a little bit of the toffee. This has a lot of good flavor to it. It's not too bad. I'm not a huge cinnamon fan. I don't not like Fireball or anything like that, but too much cinnamon for me it just doesn't work for me too well. They didn't have the mash bill or anything, so I don't know what that is, but being whiskey, it can be any bourbon. It'd have to be 51% corn for this. They didn't say what it was, so definitely real thick on the tongue, on the palate, and the cinnamon bomb. So if you like cinnamon, this is for you. And honey on the nose. I didn't get the chocolate so much. Kind of the zest. I didn't get the banana. Very sweet and a little spicy. So there you have it. For me, the Omar out of Taiwan with a little bit of cinnamon bomb going. Day 20 tomorrow. Well, we're really in the home stretch now with December 20 is Yellowstone Select Bourbon Whiskey with an 46.5 alcohol by volume with the notes of caramel, dried cherry, peanut, orange zest, herbs, roasted hazelnuts, bread, roasted, and rye. I don't know what roasted is. Roasted. So we'll pour it out and do some, let it open up. We'll read a little bit about Yellowstone. Amber color to it. Product of USA. Yellowstone Select Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It's from the Limestone Branch Distillery in Lebanon, Kentucky, I think is what it said. Limestone Branch Distillery. A delicate fusion of flavors from 7th generation distillers. This straight bourbon features a hand-picked blend of 4- and 7-year-old bourbons from an exclusive old-fashioned whiskey that honors its deep family origins. Nose, rye spice with soft leather cherries. Palate, smoked caramel. Finished smoky oak and brown sugar. What do we have? We don't seem to have... So they've got a lot of information on their website. 1795 Jacob Beam sells his first barrels of corn whiskey. Born in 1770, Jacob Beam, Stephen and Paul's great-great-uncle, was a farmer who began producing whiskey in the style known as bourbon. He sold his first barrels of corn whiskey called Old Jake Beam around 1795. His distillery was located not too far from where Limestone Branch is today. Well, this goes through all these guys. So that was Minor Case Beam. 2010, Stephen and Paul Beam. 2011, Limestone Branch Distillery opens. Stephen and Paul broke ground. May 26, 2011. Help with their father, still ties the local bourbon community. I guess they're not, I don't think they have anything to do with the Beam. Maybe did I skip anything? Guess I better read the Beam. Well, we'll do that while this opens up some more. Well, our family was there at the start of the Kentucky bourbon business. It all began when a man named Jacob Beam sold his first barrels of corn whiskey. So they do trace back, Yellowstone does trace back to Jim Beam. Though it appears to be a completely different distillery than the Beam Distillery. 7 generations later, brothers Stephen and Paul Beam started their own chapter of the family history book in the proud Kentucky bourbon distillers behind Limestone Branch Distillery. So there you have it. I'm nosing. I was getting something on there. Am I getting char? No. Am I getting caramel? No. Roasted? Yeah, maybe a little roasted. Maybe a little rye spice on the nose. I'll go for a taste. I'm trying to think if I'm getting any of the sweet notes. I'm getting something. What is that? I think I'm getting some cherries, dried cherries. I'm not sure about the hazelnuts. Bread, I never get bread. Herbs, not so much. A little bit of the peanut. I'm getting a little peanut. I think Beam has the peanut on most of their stuff. The nuttiness, the newtiness. That's it. I got some more of the herbs, not really any caramel, and then the cherries come through. So this isn't high on my fave list. I don't think I've got another bottle of it other than this sample. I'd put this at a 6.5. I don't think it's as good as the Omar or some of the others we've tasted here in the past 19 other of the Flaviar Advent Whiskey Calendar. Tomorrow, day 21. Day 21, December 21st. What I have on my mind today is number 21 box down here. This one is going to be a little unique. We'll get this poured and we'll go into why. I guess it's all right. This one's weird. I'll tell you why it's weird. Hercules Mulligan, rum and rye, other spirits, 43% alcohol by volume. Go through its notes real quick. Ginger, honey, bitter, spicy oak, rye, zesty, exotic fruit, and vanilla. So there's kind of the wheel of the Hercules Mulligan. Rum and rye. Well, that was interesting. So let's go to their website, the H. Mulligan Bespoke Libations, HerculesMulligan.com company. Named for the little-known tailor, spy, and hero of the American Revolution who changed history and secured freedom for all, Hercules Mulligan offerings are based on unique recipes from the period. It's what Mulligan the man stood for, and what each edition embodies: a spirit of independence. Simple in its nature, yet utterly complex and delightful. It tickles the nose and loosens the lips. This liquid courage could fuel a revolution, but only if you dare. Dare to stand for something. So let's take a little look at the rum and rye offering here. Learn more. Started with the original Hercules Mulligan, the blockbuster ready-to-drink old-fashioned. Taste of history, join the revolution. What makes a hero? A unique blend from the era of revolution and self-determination comes tailored for the modern independent thinker. Perfectly balanced Caribbean-aged rum and American rye whiskey create an equilibrium of duality and secret to be rediscovered. So a couple things. The potion. So we're gonna last 4 days and we're into potions now. So I guess we've run out of things to actually put in this. So now we're into potions. The potion is finished with a dash of bespoke bitters that add that extra flavor. No fakery, only honest to God ingredients that capture the essence of a bittersweet life. We'll let this open up and then we'll get into the tasting. I don't mind rum. I obviously don't mind whiskey and rye. This should be interesting. All right, I think that's opened up enough. Let's go after Hercules Mulligan Rum and Rye. Fine 21st day of the Advent. It has an odd tangy nose. Ginger? I think I'm getting a ginger. More of a Mary Ann kind of guy, but zesty, gingery. Have a little sip. Not my jam. It's got something odd on it. It's almost cinnamon, but I don't think there's cinnamon here. Exotic fruit. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's odd. I don't even know if I'm gonna finish it. This is the only one I haven't finished. It's very thick, it's very mouth coating. Yeah, not interested. Might be good for somebody. It's almost more of a liqueur at this point than a whiskey. And with the rum combo, I don't know why they put something like this in there. One thing I wanted to point out, and I haven't been watching these, is this: if you do this QR code on each page, it goes to the guy at Parley Flaviar doing the same thing I'm doing, only you see him, not me doing it, because I'm going to snip all these. I will have snipped all these together so you can kind of watch them all at once rather than one a day, because who has time for that? It is almost like if you think back to the cough syrup that you were given that was really not very good. Some like, yeah, I'll have some more of that, Mom. But the other stuff that you were like, oh, that's gross. Well, that's this. I'll give it a 2. And we'll move on to day 22 of the Whiskey Advent Calendar. Ugh. Well, and here we are for day 22. That's day 22, December 22nd of the Flaviar Advent Calendar. And the last one we did yesterday, that was not good, but today we're going to rebound with day 22. Day 22, December 22nd, is Bushmills Irish Whiskey, 10-year-old Bushmills Irish Whiskey. Very excited about this, rebounding. I don't drink a lot of Irish, but I think, you know, between Jameson and some of the others, that we're kind of used to. Bushmills is a good one to have in here because it does have any 40% alcohol by volume, honey, milk chocolate, tannic, cinnamon, which isn't my favorite as we know, milk, banana, lavender, vanilla, and spicy notes are all in there. Bushmills from their website, the youngest of Bushmills single malt. Think of this as a gateway to the greatest single malt whiskeys of the world. Bushmills single malt whiskey, 10-year-old, is triple distilled from 100% malted barley and manufactured for a minimum of 10 years in former sherry casks and bourbon seasoned casks, which give it its honey, vanilla, and milk chocolate aroma. Its exceptional complexity is only matched by its approachability and smoothness. 10-year-old can be served neat, over ice, or if you're feeling a little more adventurous, try it frozen. We call it the perfect summertime whiskey when poured over 2 ice cubes. Tasting notes, well, we just kind of went through what Flaviar believes. It's very elegant and simple style of Irish whiskey that leaves an exceptionally smooth finish. Triple distilled from 100% malted barley, it has a distinctive Bushmills light fruity aroma that travels over the lip of your tumbler to deliver 10 years of maturation, mostly in bourbon seasoned barrels. So we'll let that open up. Let's see how the Bushmills 10-year-old single malt stacks up. You can smell the malt right off the bat, maybe a little bit of the honey, tannic, cinnamon. But the cinnamon's on the taste. It's got cinnamons on the palate. Let's go in for a taste. There is a little bit of cinnamon there. The honey pops through, maybe a little bit of sweetness, a little spicy. And the spicy shouldn't be construed as being alcohol forward at all. It's not too bad. It's coating, it has a good mouthfeel, which is nice. The 10-year probably softens it a bit, gives it a little more flavor. The spicy and the cinnamon thing, is probably not as big a, my thing as some people's. When I forgot what one we tasted a couple segments ago, a couple days ago, was very cinnamon forward. That's definitely not my thing, but this isn't too bad. I don't know. If I had to have it, I'd drink it. Maybe about a 5 to 6, somewhere in there. For a 10-year-old Irish, probably would put this against Jameson to kind of see how that plays out. 80 proof, low proof, good sipper. Over ice, it'd be great. Tomorrow, December 23rd, we're getting very close to the end of the Flaviar Whiskey Advent Calendar. Tonight, on day 23, that's December 23rd of the Flaviar Advent Whiskey Calendar. Let's open up box number 23. I know we missed 21 and 22 because I didn't have the stupid camera in the right spot, but you can open this up and grab 23 out of here and see what it is. Spicy caramel, pepper, earthy herbs, licorice, charred fruit, and honey. And when you go onto the website, they have a lot more information about the mash bill and whatnot. And Boxer Grail is a Kentucky straight rye in a class of its own. Premium American whiskey boasts a lavish bouquet of spice and butterscotch when imbibed. You taste flavors of citrus and black tea. Ooh, I'm not a tea person, but we'll give it a try giving this rye. There you have it. It is a rye, which is not obvious by the description in the Flaviar, a perfect balance of sweet and spice. The depth of flavor found in this rye can be enjoyed neat or on the rocks. However, if you are a fan of classic cocktails, our Boxer Grail Old Fashioned is a knockout. 2 grains in this mash bill. Unlike other expressions from Rabbit Hole, Boxer Grail only contains 2 grains rye and malted barley. It's 95.5. Takes up a majority of the mash, with malted barley acting as a flavoring grain, giving our whiskey a velvety mouthfeel. I have had one of the Rabbit Hole expressions before, but I don't remember which one it was, but it was very good. So we'll see how this one stacks up. They mature in hand-selected American White Oak barrels from Kelvin Cooperage. To ensure all of our love and care in the whiskey making process shows the finished product, we forgo chill filtering. So it's non-chill filtered. Okay, there you have it. Bold and unexpected, barrels harvested, never more than 15, so it's always a small batch, never chill filtered. Tasting notes. It's a pretty good site that shows you everything that's going into it. Where they're getting their distillate, did I figure that out? Mash, let's see, we run the mash through our handcrafted, one-of-a-kind Vendome copper still, proof it with Kentucky limestone abundant water before barreling. So it sounds like they're distilling it. They run the mash, we run the mash through our handcrafted, one-of-a-kind copper still. So we'll let this open up and then we'll give it a taste. All right, Rabbit Hole Boxer Grail. Okay, I think I've already been drinking. I haven't. The Boxer Grail. High rye, 95.5% on the nose. Yeah, you can get the high rye right off the bat. A little spicy, a little honey. That's not too bad. Pretty, not overpowering, but fine. Let's see. See how it is on the palate. Spicy for sure. And I don't know if spicy necessarily translates to cinnamon. Cinnamon isn't on the palate, or cinnamon isn't on the notes. Pepper is, and a little bit of the char. The honey on the nose for sure. Oh, I just got that licorice. Interesting. I'm not a huge licorice fan, but that's not too bad. It's kind of laid off the on the finish. Kind of sticks around a little bit. Yeah, it's interesting. I'd put it at a 6. I mean, it's okay. Day 24 of the Whiskey Advent Calendar, December 24th. Finish it off, and don't let me forget to get the secret object as my evening Christmas gift. Now I'll say cheers. Cheers. And finally, the 24th day of the Whiskey Advent Calendar from Flaviar. This is December 24th, 2023. Let's get right into opening the little last cubby. Well, actually, it's not the last. We'll get this one too. This is very dark, very interesting Glenallachie. You have to watch Whiskey Mystery to figure out how to pronounce it correctly because he knows all these things. I find it odd that they had a scotch on the last day. You can even smell it right off the bat. It smells pretty good. And it's a 12 year, so that's nice. So let's see what's, oh, wait a sec. Glenallachie. 12-year-old scotch. Whiskey no wheat, 46% alcohol by volume. Creamy banana, butterscotch, milk chocolate, dried fruit, cocoa, honey, vanilla. So we'll let that open up. But first, from their website. In this era of mergers and consolidations, we go against the grain. An independent Scottish-owned and managed whiskey no wheat company, we chose to step away from the corporate treadmill and short-term targets. Instead, we focus on the important things, making great whiskey and enjoying life. It is in this tradition that we would like to introduce our flagship expression, Glenallachie. Here they have the Glen, and the A is capitalized. Glenallachie, maybe? 12-year-old. The heart of our range, every cask was carefully monitored under the watchful eye of our veteran whiskey maker, Billy Walker. The Glenallachie 12-year is proudly bottled at 46% non-chill filtered and natural color. Deep mahogany color, that's true. Layers of honey, well, we'll get to that. All right, so that's the 12-year. Let's see what's in the little garage. The special open for a secret object. So this is my Christmas present from Flaviar. What's this thing? Oh, it's a Frisbee golf. No, it's a Flaviar toaster. How very exciting. That's what I should have been using this whole time, but make sure there's not two. One for each one. So I've been using these others. That's nice to have an extra one. So we'll let this open up and taste it after a few minutes. All right, I think we've let that open up adequately. It does have fantastic color. Get any nose on it. Maybe a little honey. Not getting any banana on the nose, nor vanilla. Creamy isn't really a nose. Creamy should be a texture, unless it's cream. Sweet smelling, but I do get the honey. Let's see what it's on the palate here. I'm getting the dried fruit down there at the bottom a little bit. Maybe not so much the banana or the butterscotch. It does have a little bit of spiciness to it. Maybe that means it's a little more alcohol forward than one would have thought after 12 years, but it's not too bad. It is creamy on the tongue. It's got a good mouthfeel to it. Another taste. I think I am getting a little bit of the banana. I don't mind bananas, they're okay. Getting a little bit of that on the finish. The butterscotch, that just hit. It's weird how some things will hit just a little bit later after you've swallowed and you're just kind of contemplating what you just drank. Well, I don't drink a lot of scotch. Yeah, the butterscotch is on the finish, way late. That's interesting. So I would put this at an 8. So overall, maybe 7.5 to 8, I guess. I should have kept track. I can go back through and figure out what all my rankings were for everything. That was 24 samples to drink through over 24 days. There was probably maybe the 10 Cup 10 year was probably the one that was the more flavorful of all of them. This one's close. This isn't too bad at an 8. I don't know that I'd put any of them at 10s. There was a couple stinkers in there that had too much cinnamon for me. But overall, I think this is an interesting way to go about tasting and sampling a number of different whiskeys and bourbons. What I think the Flaviar does is they send you 3 random ones, and I guess that's okay. I don't know what the subscription cost is. I haven't looked into it probably as much as I should have, because I think it's one of these deals that comes with like a free month, year, whatever, because you bought this, and then you probably have to pay for shipping or something, and then, you know what I mean? And then they have your card number, and then if you don't cancel it the next year, you're stuck, or you go for a whole nother year. So I guess I'll have to look into that a little bit more. And in the meantime, you didn't see much of me on this video, and that's just fine. Like, share, subscribe. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We'll be bringing some hauls on the other channel, the Whiskey Edition, as opposed to Whiskey Edition, which is where you're watching this. And like I always say, pour an extra glass, because you never know who's going to stop by. Well, nobody's stopping by in front of the fireplace over Christmas. So cheers, and we'll see you on the next one.
You